Good morning. Today is June 11th, 2026, and today there's a moderate risk of severe weather driven by a 15% SIG 2 risk for tornadoes and a 60% SIG 1 risk of tornadoes. This means that in this hatched risk zone, the Storm Prediction Center expects EF3 tornadoes to be possible. I'm Dylan, and welcome to the forecast with Dylan. As of 11:30 in the morning when I'm recording this, there's currently a tornado watch out for a few supercells that might develop tornadoes here. I'll show you what I mean in the high resolution rapid refresh. These are the current storms. They look about accurate to the radar that's happening right now. If we push this forward by a few hours, you'll start to notice the development of further cells along the south of it. Okay, this is going to happen as a cold front is going to make its way in. Okay, these little beams right here will continue to form. They'll impact Kansas City, St. Louis, Davenport, Chicago. As you can see, they'll keep on going. This is 7, 8, 9 o'clock. This is going to be kind of like a semi-discrete type event here. And I believe by 10 or 11 o'clock, most of that energy will be already gobbled up, and I think these storms will be out. But still, they're going to cause impacts to Davenport, Chicago, Kansas City, St. Louis, and possibly Indianapolis before they're through. I mentioned a cold front a second ago. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, we're going to have clashing moisture coming down here, okay, with dew points out ahead of the line in the 70s. This is 70, 77, 78, 70, like 74 or stuff like that. So this atmosphere is going to be primed for severe weather. Take a look at surface-based CAPE. As you can tell, our morning storms are not going to do basically anything to deprime this environment, okay? This is 12 p.m. This is kind of what it's going to look like in the middle or after some of those storms. As you can see, the atmosphere is just going to keep on rolling, okay? This is in 4,000, 5,000, maybe. Is there a 5,000 here? I think I saw a 5,000. This is between 4,000 and 5,000 joules per kilogram of surface-based CAPE. Okay, so these guys are going to work through this. See, starting at 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. But even between 8 and 9 o'clock, there's still going to be significant amounts of CAPE south of Chicago. 4,600 joules per kilogram. That's going to be sufficient for severe thunderstorm development and tornado development even late into the night. Take a look at the significant tornado parameter, and that'll outline just how prime the atmosphere is for tornadoes. As we can see, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, we've got values here up to 10. Okay, the scale only goes to 10. So if that doesn't give you an indication of how ready the atmosphere and environment is here up near Davenport and Chicago is to drop a tornado, that should give you something. And this is kind of where our 15% SIG 2 tornado risk coincides with. Look at the supercell composite parameter. It's in the 30s up near Davenport and Chicago. This is the area going to be most conductive for tornadic supercells, but as you can see along the line, it's still between 5 and 10 somewhat. So these maybe not tornadic supercells down to the south will still be able to produce a large amount of damaging winds and hail. One thing I want to draw your attention to, this is the simulated tornado track for the 12GHRRR, okay? So this is not saying a tornado will occur here. This is where the model thinks rotating supercells will track the longest, okay? I want to draw your attention to this area of long track and strong possible tornadoes near Chicago and Davenport, okay? Now, this is not, I'm not going to say a tornado is going to happen right here because I've seen tracks go right over my house and nothing happens, obviously. But still, it is something to pay attention to because this is where the models believe long tracks rotating supercells could survive. When you take a look at the 12Z NAM nest throughout the rest of kind of the next 3 days, you'll notice some convective activity here in the southeast. These guys will just be little thunderstorms. I believe tomorrow this area is in a slight risk for severe weather, marginal if you go down south. These guys will produce nothing more than a few damaging gusts and maybe some hail. There's nothing to write home about. One thing to write home about is going to be the temperatures over the next few days, okay? It's going to get hot. If we draw this out to the peak hours of the day here in the southeast over North Carolina, Virginia, that is 98-degree temperatures. Upstate South Carolina in the 90s, in the low country of South Carolina in the mid 90s, 92, 95 here in Texas, 100 Lubbock, 94 in Dallas. If we go over here to Arizona, 105 in Phoenix, New Mexico getting 103, 104, 105 in some places. Southern California getting up to 108, 109. So the June heat is back, and it's going to be here to stay for the next week or so. If you are in the southeast, it looks like we'll have a tiny bit of a break between Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, the 16th and the 17th. As you can see, the cold air here will kind of try to push itself in, and it'll fight back against that warm air for the span of 2 days. This is the wind chill slash heat index, and as you can see in the morning, Tuesday morning, it'll really only heat up to 75, 80. So it'll be a nice break. But by Wednesday, we'll start to see a bit more heating up to the 80s. And then by Thursday afternoon, we're back into the mid 80s into the 90s. Take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. We can see a band of higher than normal heat here on the West Coast, where it's actually going to be a tad bit cooler up in the Midwest near Chicago and those areas, the Great Lakes and such. Down here in the Southeast, if you go towards Florida, it's going to be hotter than normal. What gives? And here on our really southeastern states, it's going to be about average or slightly hotter than normal. If we take a look at the entire month of June, we'll see most of us here in the southeast are going to be average temperatures. But up here on the west coast and the northwest, these guys are going to be hotter than normal. I want to draw your attention to a developing tropical system over here in the Gulf of America. This little bunch of clouds here, you may not be able to tell what it is, but it's actually a developing tropical system. The National Hurricane Center has placed a 10% 2-day and a 10% 7-day chance of this developing into a tropical depression. Okay, so not really much is going to happen with this storm, but it's still an indication that hurricane season is beginning. So look at the total rainfall over the next 2 weeks. As you can see here, our friends on the majority of the eastern half of the country are going to be set, most of us seeing between 2 and 5 inches of rain. But on the west coast, nothing. Not a drop, or in some places maybe a drop, but in most places not a drop of rain will fall for these folks on the west coast. So combined with that high heat that we saw earlier, these guys, we're going to have to watch out for them for a potential of a drought. Anyways, that's all for today. If you're going to be impacted by today's severe weather events, make sure you stay weather aware. Have a plan. Thanks for watching the forecast with Dylan. My name's been Dylan, and have a great day.